So get this, only 0.01% of the entire global population, all the people on this planet, can run a sub 3-hour marathon. That's 26.2 miles at 650 minute per mile pace or faster. Damn. And I want myself and you to be one of them. I'm not satisfied with just finishing a marathon. I want to conquer that thing, and I want you to do it with me. Now this video is really for everyone who's trying to get into running. I promise you, if you follow the steps and strategies in this video, it's going to help you run faster and run farther. It's really just how you progress over time. So I'm Jay, I'm a registered nurse, former track athlete, and I ran my first marathon in 2018. The plan is to run a sub 3-hour marathon next summer. Yes, that seems far out, but we're going to learn more about that later. What that means is we're going to have a ton of videos dedicated to running, improving your performance, and just your overall health, so stay tuned for that. As always, we're breaking this down into chapters, so check the timestamps below. Have a bunch of helpful resources and links in the description. I think you're going to get a ton of value from this, so stay till the deep end if you want to learn all the steps to becoming an elite runner. So I've been there before, feeling fat and tired and sick and feeling like I have no purpose. And I just don't want to be that person. When I look in the mirror, that's not the person that I visualize, that's not the person I am. So I needed to do something about it. First marathon, 2018, was super fun. I loved it. Probably the sharpest and healthiest I've ever felt overall in my life. And after the marathon, I just kind of stopped running. I never set a new goal. I don't know. I just all of a sudden quit running. Bad freaking idea. Then a little later, I started my career as a nurse, and I started as, every new nurse, working night shift, a lot of stress, horrible sleep, and my health declined rapidly despite me, trying to tread water and get myself above it by eating okay and trying to work out. I really was just sinking. This was a really hard pill for me to swallow. Here I was in the worst shape of my life, feeling tired and miserable. So the past few years, I've drastically changed my health, but I'm still nowhere near where I was and where I want to be. But pursuing a sub 3-hour marathon is just the tangible thing that can really drive change in my life and yours. It's just a kick in the ass to overhaul and change your life overnight. Only around 2% of all marathoners will ever go sub 3. So that puts this into elite category. So why not be elite? Of course, on top of all this personal achievement stuff, there is significant health benefits to having the habit of running in your life. I made a recent video about the insane benefits of running and how it literally changes and regrows your brain and your body, and it's super fascinating. I could go on forever, and I'm sure you could make a list too. There's tons of reasons to pursue it, but let's get into the meat and potatoes of it. The first step of this is probably one of the most important, but might be one of the most overlooked.
Ready, set, go.
So at the moment, my first priority action is losing body fat and some weight, but maintaining muscle. I mean, this might seem obvious, but being an appropriate weight is absolutely key to achieving this goal. Now, I do want to warn of the dangers of this, especially in the distance running world. Many runners have developed eating disorders or an unhealthy relationship with food, so I want you to be very careful about this. This isn't about crash dieting, it's about optimizing performance and staying healthy. But the reason that I want to lose more body fat and lose more weight is just because lighter weight leads to easier biomechanics. I also would just like to have less fat. It reduces strain on your joints, which of course makes it more comfortable and enjoyable to run. Having less body fat and less body weight really helps your VO2 max a ton, so you're going to build endurance and it's going to be way easier to run. So this is really critical to sustaining that pace needed for a sub 3-hour marathon. Think of it like a semi hauling a big ass trailer, got that dump truck on it, got that thing on it, you know what I'm saying? Versus a hybrid Prius. Except, of course, I don't want to be a Prius. I still want to be strong, athletic, lift weights. Got to make that very clear. The weight loss plan. The first step is tracking your weight and tracking your calories every single day. Tracking your weight and calories is something that you're told literally all the time. But for some reason, you just can't do it. You can't get yourself to do it. You try to convince yourself that you can do it without tracking your macros. You're wrong. I was wrong. I've done that before. I started tracking my weight in macros. It's already made a world of difference. I've been using this app by a person you might know, a YouTuber, Jeff Nippert. It's called Macro Factor, and I like it a lot. It's like a smart calculator. It really helps you dial in your macros. I have a smart scale as well to weigh myself each morning, and that automatically uploads to the Macro Factor app. And then it makes like weekly adjustments, which is really cool. Super slick, integrates really well. For nutrition, keep it simple. Fruit, veggies, meat, high protein. Eat like 1.1 gram protein per body weight, whatever. Really prioritize that protein. Closer to the marathon, we'll have more videos, kind of dialing down to nutrition. But as an overview, fruit, veggies, meat, let's go. One of the best ways to lose weight is increasing your movement, because movement is literally medicine. Well, good thing we're running, because we are going to get those steps in, all right? But on top of that, I also want you to walk more, especially on those days off, on your rest days, or even on your easy run days. Go for walks. Postprandial walks are great, aka after meal walks. Walking is truly a miracle drug. I love listening to podcasts or educational videos on walks. A lot of what I've learned in life, a lot of the curiosities that I've found are through just watching podcasts and videos while walking. And it really helps you process information better when you're out on a walk. Of course, the plan is continue to lift, be a hybrid athlete. My goal is to be strong, fast, and athletic. See those biceps, blood? Yeah. I just hit a bicep workout right before this. Let's go. A lot of people fear running because they think they're going to look like a lean, mean string bean. They're looking at like true elite, like Olympic level athletes who all they do is run. They don't lift heavy. And genetically, these people are just kind of set up with that body frame to run really well. If you continue to eat protein and lift, you're not going to like rapidly decline muscle like you think you are. I definitely recommend continuing to lift for everyone. You can start out with like 3 times a week full body lifts. Or if you're more advanced, you're already like a bodybuilder or something, you can keep your same sets, maybe do 5 days a week. You're going to add a lot more volume with running, and it might be a lot harder on your legs. So, learn and adapt as you go with the lifting piece. My first marathon, I remember I did a lot of Olympic lifting, because before that I was doing CrossFit. Well, marathon training, I switched to Olympic lifting because that's a lot on the engine to do CrossFit stuff. And that was a good move at the time. You got to know what works for you. This is another thing that's completely overlooked with weight loss, but stress reduction, cortisol, and all the hormones that get jacked up when you're stressed the fuck out makes it almost impossible to lose weight. And this one goes hand in hand with that, but sleep. Sleep is another thing that we all know we need, but we just put on the back burner. And I also promise you that a lot of people who are struggling to lose weight are getting poor sleep. Sleep dictates everything. Our hormones, our stress, our recovery, wakefulness, weight gain. Even the choices and decisions you make throughout the day are dictated by your sleep. Sleep has huge impacts on hunger hormones like ghrelin and leptin. Ultimately, it's going to take a sacrifice, and prioritizing your sleep is something that you need to do if you want to lose weight, if you want to better your life, and especially if you want to go sub 3. So consistent sleep is a huge goal of mine. Also, no alcohol, little to no alcohol. I'm sure there's a few times I'll drink throughout this. Yeah, no partying like every single week. That destroys our sleep, destroys our consistency. We're not gonna do that. So now to the actual juicy parts, running. Here's the training structure. First, we need to understand that if you want to run faster and farther, you got to give yourself time. It's gonna take consistency over time. Don't rush this process. You try to rush it, you're going to crash out and burn. You're not going to reach your goals. You're probably going to get injured. You're not going to enjoy running. You have to learn to enjoy this long process. Your times are going to suck right away. Your heart rate's going to be jacked up right away. Never compare your times to somebody else. If you're new to running, wait like 6 months before you start comparing times. This is true of running and also everything else in life. You have to see the long-term vision. You have to see why you're doing this. A year from now, you're going to be a completely different person because of this. See the long-term vision, see this through. So there's a few major types of runs. You have your easy runs, you have your diarrhea runs. That's not funny. You have your workouts, which are threshold, tempo, steady state, track, and then you have your long runs. All of these are super important to have in your training structure, but they're all targeting different things. So the first target is building your aerobic endurance. To achieve a sub 3 hour marathon, you have to have a strong aerobic base, which is your stamina, your endurance. This is what allows you to run long distances efficiently and without excessive fatigue. First, your easy runs. These are kind of fun days. You just kind of run at a comfortable pace. Simple as that. There's a current obsession with zone 2, so you're going to hear a lot about that. But I think when you're marathon training, when you're run training, just worry about perception of how you feel during it. How do you feel? Should it feel light and easy? These are good days to run with friends. You can talk a lot. Currently, I have no running partners. Maybe I should join a run club or something. I don't know. Could find my future hot wife there maybe. Next up to building this aerobic base is your long runs. These are some of the most daunting days in your schedule, in your structure, but they are the cornerstone of your training. They're usually at the end of each week in your marathon training plan, usually right outside your comfort zone for distance. You look at it and you're like, oof, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this today. You're not going, balls to the walls for an effort, but it's usually a little harder than easy runs, but you still want to kind of keep that conversational pace. Another great one to do with friends because it makes it way easier if you have someone to motivate you to keep going. You're going to be really tired after these runs. I know we talked a little bit about nutrition and losing weight earlier, but I do think that these days it's kind of fun to celebrate, kind of reward yourself. Maybe get some pancakes with your friends and family after, get some brunch, or maybe get some ice cream after. It's a fun day to reward yourself because these are the difficult days. Next are probably my favorite, which is the speed work. Specifically the track workouts are my favorite. But let's talk first about the tempo runs, threshold runs, or steady state as you might hear them called. These are faster than your easy runs. They're decently challenging, faster paced. You're not going 100% full effort on these. A lot of times your threshold training will be like first 20 minutes easy, and then you'll do like 40 minutes of, you're at that threshold level, you're higher up, maybe around 70% of your max effort, and then that last 20 minutes or so you're going to go easy again. So it doesn't always mean the whole run is higher level, but you're trying to work in these thresholds to build your pace over time, to build your stamina. These are also so important to have in your structure. But my personal favorite is track and interval workouts. Might be because of my history in track, I don't know, but I just like these. These days might scare you a little bit too though, make you a little nervous because you're running real quick, and they're usually really, really hard. You're going to do things like 800-meter repeats, 400-meter repeats, sometimes even 200-meter repeats, mile repeats, a lot of repeats. You're going to run these at significantly faster pace than your marathon pace, and you're going to have some short recovery periods in between. This builds up speed over time and teaches your body to handle faster paces, but they're going to leave you gassed, and this is the days where you see people throwing up. You got to enter the pain cave a little bit here. These days I feel the best. I think I must unlock some of that runner's high, must unlock some of that dopamine and the neurotransmitters that are released because I feel really, really good after these days. Another kind of speed work thing you can do is hill sprints. This builds your leg strength, improves your running economy. You can do it like once a week or so, especially in the early phases of training. It's kind of fun to throw some hills in. One of the most important steps is coming up right now. Progressive overload. Listen to me now. Are you freaking listening, dude? Come on, listen. Progressive overload. A slow, gradual increase in miles over time. Right now I'm at like probably 25 miles a week at the moment. Slowly building to 30, then 40, then 50, and so on, etc. I'm kind of starting with like 5K types of trainings and then increasing this and kind of repeating them over time to slowly build. But this is crucial. A lot of new people try to run too far, too fast. Another way to just crash and burn, baby. The concept of progressive overload is pretty simple. You're just gradually going to increase the intensity and volume and frequency of your training, which will continually challenge your body, but not, send it over the edge. Whatever type of training you're starting, start at a weekly mileage that's comfortable for you. Then you increase it about 10% each week. Another crucial part to this is every third or fourth week, you actually have a down week where you're going to actually have a little lower miles. It just allows you to recover, and then that next week you can start to build again. As you progress, your speed work, tempo runs are going to become more intense and longer duration. You got to really listen to your body as you progressively overload. But this is exactly why I'm waiting until next summer to try to pursue this, because I have a long ways to build before I'm quite ready to break that sub 3 hour barrier. Another way to help with progressive overload is cross training like cycling or swimming. And of course, Part of your training is rest and recovery days. At the moment, I'm running about 5 out of 7 days of the week. Eventually, that's going to be 6 out of the 7 days of the week. But your body needs time to recover. Do something active. We call these active recovery days. Maybe some yoga. Definitely recommend walking or hiking. Maybe playing some pickleball with friends. I like mountain biking. Do something to get yourself moving, but maybe not in that straightforward running motion. I track my sleep and recovery using the Ultra Human Ring Air, which is this ring right here. It's a smart ring. Pretty dope, actually. Can you see it? But this thing is pretty cool, actually. I've focused way more on my sleep and my recovery and my stress since I've got this thing, and I only got it a little bit ago, but it's actually been fascinating to see the data. Track your sleep, your heart rate, temperature, O2. Really useful tool for health-related things. So I do have a discount code below if you want to get it at a discount. I think it takes like $50 off it. No subscription, but you do need to monitor and adjust your performance and your recovery. For running right now, I am using the Apple Watch. That'll probably change over time, but the Apple Watch is just fine. And I'm kind of looking into other things. Keep that on the radar. But something to track your pace, distance, and your heart rate. Really going to help you improve and make necessary adjustments. You got to adapt a bit on how you feel. If you're feeling overly fatigued, don't be afraid to back down a little bit. Again, that's why I think it's really important to have like a year build rather than a 3-month build. But the next steps are perhaps some of the most disregarded of them all, but the ones that drive the most results. Mental toughness. Mindset is earned during this journey. You can notice yourself becoming more disciplined. You notice yourself at higher energy levels. You're going to notice you're running farther and faster. You realize you're able to dig deeper, reach a pain cave you've never reached before. You don't quit right away just because it's uncomfortable. Part of this running addiction comes from how it develops your mind, and you become addicted to the habits and systems, and it's almost like gamifying your life. You can see yourself get results. It's a positive feedback loop, and it's very satisfying. Now, you can't really talk about running without talking about injury prevention because it's just kind of bound to happen, but we need to do our absolute best to prevent it. Injuries are quite common, and an injury can really derail your training. That's why we slowly, progressively overload over time, slowly build mileage. Do the things like sleeping and eating and being a good weight. That's why it's so crucial. For your warm-ups, don't static stretch before. You need to do dynamic, active warm-ups, not static stretching. There's really good dynamic warm-ups on YouTube. That's what I use personally. I just like running dynamic warm-up. They're great. I just do like a 5-minute little warm-up. In track, we always used to do an ab workout and then a dynamic warm-up. And I think I might start incorporating this because it really did help for some reason. It felt nice. To make sure you're preventing injuries, you need to move well. So if you're new to running, you probably should go to a run lab and get a gait analysis. Otherwise, watch a lot of YouTube videos on good form. Maybe watch some run lab videos where they correct people's form and get some key takeaways from these videos that can help you make sure you're running well. And when you're just starting running, that should be your main focus really, is just running with good form. And as soon as your form starts to break down, you probably should walk from there. Don't injure yourself, please. And again, cross training is really crucial. Continuing to move in other ways can also help with this build. Play some sports, brother. The most controversial piece is fueling your performance and hydration. And we're gonna have more in-depth videos about this as I build. For now, we're gonna focus on a few keys. First, always make sure that you're properly hydrated before you start your run. In my video about running, I said I don't bring water. I don't think you need vest for running and all that stuff. And that was a bit controversial, I guess. I wasn't telling people to never bring water or anything with, but if you're going for a shorter, easy run, I think it's less necessary than you think it is. If you're going for a long run and you're especially if you're doing threshold or tempo stuff, probably want some water with you. There's some nice water bottles where you just grip it, hold it, super nice. Nutrition side of things, people use goos and gels. What's really most important about this is you practice this during your training so that when it comes to the marathon, your body knows how you're going to fuel it. You know what doesn't upset your stomach or what might upset your stomach. Don't be a shock to your system on marathon day. My first marathon, that's what I did. I didn't do anything. I just, whatever, in the day of the marathon hit, and I started using some random gels. I don't even know what they were. Remember, I got a donut from some dude at mile 17. absolute lifesaver. I was kind of crashing then, and it felt real nice. Running gear, I don't think you need to go over the top. Just need a good running watch, whether it's Apple Watch, Coros Pace 3, Garmin watches make great watches. I have a running belt that I absolutely love. It's just super simple. Vest if you want it, whatever works best for you. Personally, I don't feel like I can run very fast when I have a vest on, but that's just me. Something like this just requires extreme discipline. It requires action, and everything I just told you is a complete waste if you don't take action right now. So take action by clicking this video right here if you want to learn important life lessons and pillars to set you up for success in life, whether that be on your personal health journey or just your life journey. And YouTube also thinks you're gonna like this video right here. I'm freaking ecstatic for this journey. I'm glad you're here with me. Freaking, what are you doing? Subscribe, bro. All right, peace.